Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really, really ticks me off. Well, today we're not going to talk about anything that really ticks me off because I think the statute of limitations is far, far, far away from anything that will make me very upset. I love it, though. I love it more than life itself. We are finally entering the house of the Plantagenet or the Plantagenets. Technically, many historians consider Henry II to be the first of the Plantagenet kings, but his mama married the dude who made it all possible. That is Empress Matilda, also known as sort of maybe possibly Queen Matilda. For those of you coming into the chat and those that will be watching in the future, thank you for being here at Miss Martin Muses. I want to remind you this is a live stream, so there will be some banter and some talk and participation from the audience. I thoroughly encourage people to participate in the chat respectfully, because this is an area that I am far from an expert in and I enjoy learning, but I want to point people in these directions. I've been running across so many people that said, I didn't know about this, or this sounds so fascinating. And I would send you to people that have been doing a lot of very, very good work on this. One is History Calling. She did some pretty cool videos. She's one of my favorite history channels. My area of specialization is Renaissance and Reformation studies. Hello, it is Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and the MCU. Hello, great to see you. We are going to talk about the Anarchy. I had far too much fun with the whole House of the Plantagenet thing. I have some friends that got the joke, but maybe others didn't. I just laughed. It just made me giggle. What can I say? There are parallels that George R. R. Martin has admitted to. Whenever you have fantasy fiction, normal fiction rather, depictions of kingdoms and political intrigue, of course there will be parallels in everything. I just enjoyed this so much, though. So let's jump right into it. Previously on House of the Plantagenet, though last week it was called Heirs and Spares and Why You Should Never, Ever Go on a Hunt, a royal hunt. You just might end up DED. We had Henry I, the son of William the Conqueror, though not the first heir to become the king after William the Conqueror. That was William II, who had a hunting accident. So now we have Henry I as king of England for quite a while. He lived to quite a nice old age and had 2 wives, but only 2 legitimate children. One was a dude, one was a chick. The dude, his name was William Otolin, and if I mispronounce that, please forgive me. Then we have Matilda. The reason why she's called Empress Matilda is she was married to Henry V, the Holy Roman Emperor. Her second husband, Geoffrey, the Count of Anjou, will, be her second husband. That is how this house will get started. At first, everything was cool. Henry I is like, yeah, I've only got 2 legitimate children and only 1 son, but hey, one's all you need, right? Well, 1 is all you need until, unfortunately, you get on a boat. And he dies, along with a bunch of other people. But the heir will drown in this tragic sinking. The historian William of Malmesbury said, no ship that ever sailed brought England such disaster. Dun, dun, dun. They lost the heir. There were also some half-sister and brothers. I think at least 1 half-sister that perished in there because Henry I had several bastards. Oops. So there goes William. He went to the great beyond. This left Matilda, the chick. She's now married to Geoffrey, the Count of Anjou, and having lots of babies, or around this time. The marrying, the babies, and the oath, these things might meld together. Make a long story short, Henry the First is like, Matilda is my heir. And in Westminster Abbey, they all had to make oaths swearing their allegiance to Matilda as the heir. They swore over relics. That's going to be very important. We've talked a little bit about the taking of the oath, especially if you take one over relics. Back then, they didn't have tons of Bibles for reasons. It's just very similar to taking an oath on the Bible, over the Holy Scriptures. If you've ever seen A Man for All Seasons, you know that the taking of an oath is something incredibly sacred and not to be trivialized with. Look who it is in the chat. It is Shane Nolan. Hey, Teresa, a favorite subject of mine. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. And please, pretty please chime in. I have an outline of this here, and I will be using wikis as my sources. I'm not going to lie and pretend that I am a brilliant scholar on this subject. So anything that can be added is definitely welcome. So here we are minding our own business. Yay, Matilda's going to be the heir. She was pregnant at the time that Henry the First passed away. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. This is very simple, isn't it? Oh, he died. She's the heir. Yay. Well, not so simple. She's a woman. Look at her. Isn't she pretty? This is what I did for my thumbnail, and it was put over Raina from House of the Dragon because of some of these parallels, and it cracked me up. She was also Raina was pregnant at the time that her father died, and she was supposed to become the heir. Daddy Conqueror, Henry the First, Empress Matilda. Bit of a spoiler coming up about what's going to happen, though if you look on Google, you know who's going to be king eventually there. Geoffrey Plantagenet of Anjou, her second husband. You know, one of the babies she pops out is Henry II. Henry II of Will No One Rid Me of This Meddling Priest fame. Here's William the Conqueror. They had 9 kids. They had loads of kids. He and his wife. He had a wife named, a daughter. Oh my gosh, this is not the real Targaryens. That would be a whole other family affair. Adela, if I pronounce that correctly, his daughter, her son, Stephen, the grandson of William the Conqueror and cousin to Empress Matilda. He will claim the throne. Shane Nolan says, I was watching Beckett the other day. Yes, Will no one rid me of this meddling priest. I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but it is so epic. Never, ever say, will no one rid me of this meddling priest, because you never know who's watching, a.k.a. Maud. You are correct. She was sometimes called Maud. Maud might be easier since everyone else was named Matilda. Yeah, he did. He actually did say it. Okay. See, that's where I need my clarification, because sometimes it's something a myth or something real. I know that he had implied he wanted him dead. But if we want to be completely historically accurate, he probably said it like in French, which I can't say, so I won't say it. The king, all these people are speaking French for quite a while. And even if they were speaking English, it would be something entirely different. So now that we know how the rivals are going to be related, interestingly, though, through the mother's line, Adela Stephen, if you wanted to make a comparison with House of the Dragon, this would be if Rhaena's husband, the first one, challenged. Because in House of the Dragon, Princess Rhaenys was the woman, and they decided that Viserys would receive the line of succession versus her through her son. But yes, he will come through her son. In the way we put the kings of England, kings and queens of England, Empress Matilda or Maud will never be considered the queen. So you will see it go from William the Conqueror to Henry the First to Stephen. Whether that's fair or not, well, that's just life. Let's have a look. Okay, Empress Matilda lived from 7th of February, approximately 1102 to 1167. She was around for a while. Most good deal of it was in the Anarchy. King Stephen the First, spoiler alert, he lived between, let's just say, 1096 and 1154. He reigned from 1135 to 1154. There he is. I love the way that they drew. There was a reason they did it the way they did it back then. And I think that's the last. Oh, yeah, I talked about the battle at Lincoln. Now we're going to go away from my modest little slideshow. And Shane Nolan says 90% of the nobles supported Stephen and the church. Correct. It wasn't a question. Well, it was a question, but it wasn't because he was crowned pretty easily from what I recall. And that he was even acclaimed so. I mentioned this in the last stream that there were acclamations that would be done for who was to be the king. I forget the name of the group that would do that. Perhaps this plays a role. Well, look, it's Corey Cochran. Hello, hello. Thank you, everyone that is coming here in the chat. We are talking the Anarchy. We're now finally getting into the actual war part. Let me see here. It says, on Henry's death in 1135, the nephew, Stephen of Bois, seized the throne with the help of Stephen's brother, Henry of Bois, who was the Bishop of Winchester. It helps when you've got a brother who's a bishop. It says, when news began to spread at Henry I's death, many of the potential claimants to the throne were not well placed to respond. Geoffrey and Matilda were in Anjou. She was also pregnant. Stephen was conveniently placed in Boulogne, and when news reached him of Henry's death, he left for England, accompanied by his military household. Robert of oh man, if I mispronounce these things, please forgive me, had garrisoned the ports of Dover and Canterbury, and some accounts suggest that they refused Stephen access when he first arrived. Nonetheless, Stephen probably reached his own estate on the edge of London by December 8th, and over the next week, he began to seize power in England. Shane Nolan says, I know a great story about Matilda, an incident during the war. Oh, please do share. Please do share. Yeah, the crowd did proclaim him king. Everyone proclaimed him king. And yay, they were all king. However, people began to side with Matilda and her cause, including her bastard brother. In 1138, fighting broke out on several fronts. First, Robert of is it Gloucester or Gloucester? Please, British people, help me. Rebelled against the king, starting the descent into civil war in England. An illegitimate son of Henry I and the half-brother of the Empress Matilda, Robert was one of the most powerful Anglo-Norman barons controlling estates in Normandy as well as other earldoms. Robert renounced his fealty to Stephen and declared his support for Matilda, triggering a major regional rebellion in Kent and across the southwest of England. Stephen rapidly responded to revolts and invasions, focusing primarily on England rather than Normandy. So lots of fighting. Gloucester. 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 Thank you. I'm not a Brit. I'm an American, and I suck. So I'm not going to go again. I'm not going to go into details about the battles because that's just not what I do. I'm going over some details. So I'm going to move over to Stephen de Bois. It says here, Stephen took firm steps to defend his rule, as we said, including arresting a powerful family of bishops. When the Empress and Robert invaded in 1139, Stephen was unable to crush the revolt rapidly, and it took hold in the southwest of England. Captured at the Battle of Lincoln in 1141, he was abandoned by many of his followers and lost control of Normandy. He was freed only after his wife and some other dude, one of his military commanders, captured Robert at the rout of Winchester, but the war dragged on for many years with neither side able to win an advantage. G. Nolan says, there was a true exchange of hostages. Stephen was captured and ransom exchanged with his son and heir. They sent a boy dressed as the prince. It took a few weeks to find out. Cool. I'm assuming you mean Stephen was captured and ransom exchanged with not his sin. Look at the result of my sin, people. It's the sun. Stieg is here. Hello, Stieg. Shane Nolan says, after she threatened to execute the boy, they said, go ahead. She had grown so fond of the boy, she couldn't do it. She fostered him. His father said, kill him, and he became William Marshall. Yes, thank you for being here, Stieg. Good to see you. Yeah, we're not getting into the minutia of this situation, and it is not minutia, meaning that all of these things are important, but this is an overview to show people what was going on and how this was a big brouhaha. While Matilda never really became the queen of England, she had the honor and the joy of her son remaining being the heir, and he will be sitting on the throne. Shane Nolan is helping me out here. The 3 wins on the English flag are the Plantagenet lions. The death of Stephen's son. Oh, okay. Thank you. I knew I was missing something, and there we have it. Which gives us Henry II. It is Zax. It is Zax here saying happy Saturday. Yes, we are talking about the beginning of the House of the Plantagenet, where there was a big old civil war that happened over the succession, and things kind of went to hell. Spoiler alert if you don't want to be spoiled by House of the Dragon. La, 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 la. We both know that neither of them really win. I hope that you left in the middle of the laws. What ended up occurring... Well, I won't say what happens to Rhaena or the Aegon king, second of his name, but neither of them really end up being the king, and it will be the heir of Rhaena who will rule. Happy Saturday. Good topic. Well, thank you. Yes. Yes, we are talking about the House of the Plantagenet. This is called the Anarchy, and part of the reason why it is called the Anarchy is because it was crazy. This is who ends up on the Iron Throne. Oh, I mean the other throne. It is none other than Henry II, who marries Eleanor of Aquitaine. Here they are. Aren't they a cute couple? Eleanor of Aquitaine is quite interesting. She was married to the King of France, then divorced him to marry Henry II. She was played played by Katharine Hepburn in Lion in Winter. When Stephen died in 1154, Henry Plantagenet became Henry II, the first of the dynasty that ruled England until 1485. She earned her third Oscar. Yes, she did, in The Lion in Winter. I'll tell you what, though, Henry II. My goodness. Murder in the Cathedral. That takes a lot of guts. So there it is. That is the Anarchy. I'm always happy when people join me and want to yap about it. If there's anything anyone else wants to add, please go ahead and do so. I I just find this also very fascinating. Another movie, Becket, which is about St. Thomas Becket, was made and it had the same person. Oh wait, it looks like I got a link. Oh, ooh. I'm looking at a video here. Eleanor of Aquitaine and her beta husband. Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to be going off into my world and having a Saturday. So I want to say thank you, Shane Nolan, for being here, for Zach's, for Shane Nolan. Uh, we had Stieg popping in. Zach says interesting but not surprising that they were originally French. English as their second language. Yes, it's Corey Cochran. Thank you for being here, Corey. Taylor Swift greater than Disney Stars. Thank you. I have some videos upcoming, some more about House of the Dragon, more specifically. Now that, oh, by the way, kids, I am now completely monetized. Yes, I am, Precious. Thoroughly and completely monetized. So I will not be bugging you ever again. Thank you for those that have been helping me, that have been sharing. A lot of people right here in this chat and that have been watching my material to get me up to those hours that I was needing to do so. I am going to be having the party of the century. I just need to figure out when is the time to do so. Yes, congratulations. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was a slog, I tell you, a slog, Precious. And just for fun, because we can, I'm going to go ahead and yeah, I'll just make this an open thing if you want it to be. If there's anything else about what you would like to muse. Every time I would get hours, they just kept like rolling back. It was very annoying. So the witching hour, which I called it, at midnight, you're minding your own business. And suddenly you lose hours. And then you gain some. And then you lose some. But then, God bless America, that whole air and spare thing. Well, people liked that one a lot. And so they watched it and it worked out really nicely. So once again, thank you all very much. I'm sure that we'll also get some Archer Cullen in here discussing some of these topics. And some of the things that I've been watching and paying attention to have been Fallout. Been watching Fallout. I've been rewatching Game of Thrones season 1. I am reading Storm of Swords. Trying to finish up Magician, but I am very, very reluctant because once I know that it is done, then it's over. And that makes me very sad. Archer knows his history well, yes, and far better than I will know about this. Again, part of my goals in bringing these up is to show you all, hey, look at this, friends and neighbors. This is something that maybe you can learn more about and also find some parallels with the House of the Dragon. What's my Fallout take? Well, I liked it. I thought it was good. It kept me watching the whole time. So, yay. I thought the actor and the performance and the character of Cooper was amazing. The characters of Lucy and I people have been calling him Finn. I thought they were good. They were adequate, but they weren't as compelling as Cooper. Speaking of Cooper, I kept calling him Special Agent Dale Cooper, but he was really named Hank. Also a very interesting character. The diversity of it made sense because it was supposed to be set in 2097. It just looked kind of like not 97, whatever it was. It just looked similar to the 1950s. I have been made aware that it was not consistent with the video game lore. Yeah, I liked it too. Mhm. Okay, Shane Nolan says, I sent you a DM of Eleanor of Aquitaine videos and a funny joke and French speaking English kings. Oh, yeah. English is their second language. Walton Groggins is fantastic. Is he the guy who I called Finn? Which and the reason is the character was kind of similar, but that's all right. There's only so many tropes you can do. The one part I really geeked out on from sort of playing the game. Oh no, Walton Goggins, that's the actor who played Cooper. Oh gosh, yes. He was amazing. Absolutely amazing. He was the ghoul. Yes. Had a bit of a Clint Eastwood thing going on with him. Yes, he did Precious. Goggins equals ghoul, correct. And Lucy is a great character. Yeah, she is a great character. I guess I'm just saying as far as like compelling, really staying with you, but it's also not fair because come on, you're a ghoul, you look like Clint Eastwood, you defend dogs. Yeah, it's only fair. Yeah. The twist was good. My only concern is that they are spending too much time being worried about mystery boxes, which can kind of bite you in the butt. It's like, okay, now we've gotten the secret out from first season. Now take all those mystery boxes and throw them out and just tell like the next part of the story. I think that more flashbacks would be pretty cool. The aesthetics of it were so beautiful with all of the costumes. So, like, wait a second, I forgot to say what I was geeking out about. I was geeking out about him being in that like monster suit thing. And those of you that are screaming at me, I am a normie when it comes to Fallout. I've only played it a little bit, but when he stepped inside of it and was running around in it, that is exactly how I felt the first time I played the game. And the first time I stepped into it in Fallout 4, and the way you can jump off buildings, that was fun. Zach says, I played all the games. I was cynical about it originally, but really enjoyed it. Yes. Well, and this brings up another point, doesn't it? How critical do we have to be? We all experienced what we experienced with The Last Jedi, didn't we? It was incredibly disappointment. It was a butchering. We've all experienced some of the butchering with the MCU and some beloved IPs and characters. But when is it just simply that an adaptation takes liberties versus an adaptation is butchering it? And in my humble opinion, this was a situation of taking liberties. It's okay to not completely perfectly adapt. Not everything is the Rings of Power, which is something completely different on a whole other scale. And we have been gaslit when people say, "Oh, in adaptations, you have to change some things." It's like, yes, you do, but that's not what they did in Rings of Power, okay? This is not Rings of Power territory, in my opinion. I've spoken to 1 or 2 though, who are big fans of Fallout. They've played all of them, who were upset with some things. And I bow down before them, before that argument. It's like, hey, if this is something that you have played, if this is something that you really truly enjoy, well, I understand that. I do. I understand why you would be upset. And that is fair, in my humble opinion. Very true, Teresa. Yeah. Now we've gotten a little too cranky. We shouldn't be. Let me just put it to you this way. If everyone is saying the same thing all the time, then no one's saying anything. I hope we get more things like Fallout. I feel a little bit differently about it because it was a video game. So it's like, okay, so you've got a chick. When I played Fallout, you could choose. I played as a woman. I know other people that play as men. You can choose the gender. And everyone's like, well, but they still chose the woman. Well, of course they did. They've got quotas. We all know that. There was a they them character in it. Well, that's right there in there. They have to have one. But it wasn't a big part of the story. And it wasn't like they were trying to make some big huge social commentary. We need to choose our hills to die on. That quote would make a good t-shirt. Yes, you've heard it here first. Heard it here first. That's my take on the if everybody is special, then no one is. Yeah. And that's all I gotta say about that. Trying to finish up this magician. I've been reading these like 24, 25 books, and it's like there's someone putting the brakes on me. It's awful. They're putting the brakes on me because I don't wanna finish. Because once I'm finished, I'm finished. I I wanna tell people, though, please go ahead and read Raymond Feist's books before they get adapted and therefore a little bit tainted. Alright. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off on this party. I wanna thank everyone who's been here, and these will be continuing, though I'm not sure how my schedule is going to work. But please, if there was anything that I said, especially about the anarchy, that makes you interested or curious, go and find more information about it from people far more qualified than I on the subject. So have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Yes, thank you. And be certain to, I don't know, don't live in a hereditary monarchy where it matters. Yay, democracy and representative republic all the way.